Hey everyone, my name is Ford from NorCal Thrills, and today I have an update for you from Six Flags Discovery Kingdom for April 8th, 2023. This is among the more exciting updates we've had for you from this park, with 3 interesting topics to cover. 1. The Scream Break event that Discovery Kingdom is holding. 2. A preview of the new Rainforest Trail and a check-in at Shark Experience. And 3. Some more construction at the park for 2023 and 2024 experiences. And of course, we'll finish up with a ton of smaller updates from around the park. Let's get started. Let's begin with Scream Break. This event is one that Six Flags has been running in a handful of parks around the country, combining spring break experiences during the day with a more mature, scary event at night. On the spring break side, we see the same emphasis on food and entertainment that we saw during Mardi Gras. The event brings us 2 new seasonal food stands, Beach Break Grill in the food court serving Hawaiian bowls, and Hang Ten Cafe across from Seaside Junction also serving Hawaiian bowls. Also, like Mardi Gras, there's a stage with a DJ set up playing music in the center of the food court tent. Some more on that later. But when the sun goes down, the scary fun starts. In the Picnic Grove area near DC Universe, the park has set up 2 haunted experiences. Toxic Terror, a walk-through scare zone with infected, toxic characters, which you have to walk through to get to Clown Underground, a larger maze featuring clowns and other characters. I went through right at 7 when it opened and thought both were pretty understaffed and suffered from the light. But when I went through a second time, an hour or so later, both were so much better. The darkness hides a lot of the characters, and the maze in particular filled up with so many more monsters on my second run. But that wasn't the end of the fun for Scream Break. It also featured a DJ spinning dance tunes and spewing out UV foam for people to play in. The rides in DC Universe stayed open for guests attending the event to ride. There were also a few characters roaming around dancing and interacting with guests. I left very happy with the event. The haunted experiences were filled with energetic characters and were enough to hold me over until the fall. Night rides on the coasters are something that we don't get nearly enough, and I loved the atmosphere of the entire event. Make sure to get out to visit if you haven't yet, and I hope that the park brings the event back next year. Continuing on, this weekend I was able to get a preview of the new Rainforest Trail, which of course is a refresh of the former Butterfly exhibit. So let's start with the obvious as we look over the exhibit. The majority of it is similar to the Butterfly exhibit that was there before, with 2 notable exceptions. Jibnut the Paca and Ginger the Sloth are being moved over to this exhibit from the nursery, although they weren't quite ready yet. The rest of the changes consist of some more general cleaning and new signage and some new koi fish. This isn't some sort of massive top-to-bottom overhaul, but it is a nice cleaning and refresh of a tired part of the park. And if it gives us more access to a sloth, then I'm all for it. The other new for 2023 animal exhibit is Shark Experience, a refresh of the current shark exhibit. The sign out front says that it's open during construction, but I didn't see much, if any, construction going on the inside. Maybe it's too dark, or I'm not looking hard enough, but I bet it's still yet to start. On the other hand, the gift shop at the end was closed today, so maybe the construction is starting with an overhaul to that shop, and then starting on the main exhibit. But those 2 aren't the only additions that look like they're coming our way this year and next. I'm happy to say that the former Hammerhead location in the food court appears to finally be filled, with a new beer garden. The park appears to be adding some sort of infrastructure for this new area already, and I'm hopeful that the former ride platform, which now has tables on it, will be given a lot more shade and much more seating for people with their drinks. It's not the ride that I was hoping for on the spot, but more shade in the park and more seating is never a bad thing. The park also has some new signage up for a new for 2024 experience. This is at the former Walrus exhibit that has been closed since one of the animals died in 2021. Like the beer garden sign, this sign mentions elevation and new heights, but I have to assume that this is a pretty straightforward refresh and reopening of this long-closed exhibit. But I'll keep my eye out. As we get into smaller updates from around the park, I want to touch on that idea of refreshing the park. All throughout my visit, I noticed a lot more fresh paint on signs, reopening, and other small quality of life changes that might get overlooked by non-nerds like me. I want to tip my cap to the park and say that I think that everyone notices the cleanliness and freshness, even if it's not consciously. Starting at the food court, the tent covering the seating area was removed. Not sure if this is a permanent thing or temporary, but this space looks so much bigger without the tent. Next to JB's, the landing to the former Toyota Stadium area was closed off to guests, as it was from all directions. The area seems to no longer be accessible to parkgoers at all. We'll see if this holds during the Halloween and Christmas events too. The Macho Nacho location has had its signage removed and an elevation sign on one of the doors, although the menu and signage is still up inside. I have to assume that we'll see something new in this space. Over at Tava's Jungle Land, although the rides remained closed, the area is open to walk through again, and there's actually a little area teaching kids about conservation that wasn't open before. The only casualty this month was Frog Hopper, which was totally removed from this site. But on the plus side, there are multiple new exhibits being built. The water features were on for the first time in a long time, and the entire area got a fresh new coat of paint. Similarly, Seaside Junction was open as well, with the water feature, the train, and Air Penguins open, and Merlin's Seaside Tours and the area around it closed. Headed over to Medusa Plaza, Kong remains closed this month with more elevation signs posted around its entrance. Daredevil Dive was finally totally removed from the park with tables out front. From the path, you can see that this site currently sits empty. I assume it will be filled in and used for seating, but we'll see. And finally, Flash is open again. Ironically, I saw it running for the first time since March of 2020, and then a cycle or two later it closed the rest of the day before I could ride it. Next time. And that'll wrap up our update for the day. This was a jam-packed update full of tons of interesting happenings, including Scream Break, a preview of the new for 2023 animal exhibits, and some interesting news about what's coming next year. But in addition to that, we had some smaller news like the reopening of our kids areas, removal of some rides, and reopening of other rides. The park is about ready to head into its busier summer season, and so my next visit will be around the unofficial start of summer, Memorial Day.